had an Orange Pi that was beginning to overheat when I was putting too much workload on it, and they are not really prone to staying very cool anyways. It seems even with a heat sink installed on them, they run a little bit warm. You might be able to see the heat sink down there. On average, even at standing, it would run about 50 degrees Celsius according to Armbian monitor. So what I did is I have a 40 millimeter Sunon fan. I basically took the top of the case off and I drilled holes into it in order to create airflow and mounted the fan. Now this is a 12 volt fan, but I've got it plugged into the GPIO connectors right there to provide 5 volts to the fan. And even though the recording seems to be okay, I don't know if I just said recording or not. This is what happens when I stay up too late and don't get enough sleep. Even though the speed of the fan seems to be okay, it could probably run a little bit faster if it was at 12 volts instead. I thought about getting a lower voltage 5 volt fan, or maybe get a small step up transformer that would convert it to 12 volts. But let's just see what the difference is when this is running at 5 volts with the fan on it versus when it has no fan on it at all. It's going to take a few minutes for it to boot up. So now we're in the Armbian of the Orange Pi, and we see already that it has a CPU temperature of 34. An Armbian monitor will actually be able to keep an eye on us right there. And it's already increasing in its temperature at 37. So we're just going to let this sit and do nothing for a little bit and see what it goes up to. So it's already increased from 35 to 42 while it's been running. So I'm going to run another terminal and put a small stress under it. And that went up real fast. And it looks like it dropped down a little bit. Maybe some sort of CPU throttling kicked in to lower the temperature down. I'm going to go ahead and put the fan power on now. Okay, the fan's on now, so we'll see what it goes down to, if any. Okay, so it does look like there was a significant change. We went down from around 74 to 75 down to about 64 Celsius. 10 degrees, that's about 18 degrees Fahrenheit difference. I think we'd probably get a bigger change if I would have used a 12 volt power source to the fan instead of a 5 volt, because the fan would spin faster and push more air through. Or maybe if I had a fan that was dedicated at 5 volts instead. I'm not really sure what that fan's airflow would be rated at if it ran at a lower voltage. It's just an old Sunon fan I had floating around. But it does seem to have some effect when it's running, as it has caused the temperature to drop quite a bit there. That's still considered a little bit warm by the unit, but still I think it's a little bit better than running close to 70 to 75 Celsius. So if I drop that stress test, see what it goes down to. At the top of this entire thing, we were running close to about 40, 38 to 40 before I started the stress. So I think it probably dropped down to maybe about 35. I forgot that was on the other monitor there. I was gonna look something up while that was showing. So it doesn't look like the fan really provides much of an improvement when it's not really running under any load. It still seems like it's about 40, which is where it was at before it was powered on. I mean, before the fan was powered on. But it does seem like when it was under load, it was dropping some. Actually, it looks like it's still dropping a little bit there, just a little bit slower now. So we'll wait a little bit longer and see how low it might go here. Yeah, it looks like it's staying around 38, 39. Now I'm going to unplug the fan just to see if it goes up any. When I originally started, it was already at about 40, but it was just turning on. So We'll see if it goes up or if it stays right about there. So the fan is unplugged and stopped now. So there's nothing extra running now than there was a second ago. Looks like it went up a couple degrees here. And it looks like it's increasing in temperature with the fan flow off. Let's see about how high it goes. Now, I don't have any GUI running on this right now. It's only running the CLI, and it's basically remotely logged into. I've used this particular one in the past as to simply play some movies in the living room. Just copy a file over to it from YouTube or something and then stream to the living room. And it usually works good, but the problem that I had with it was that after a certain amount of time it would start getting sluggish, and I think that's due to it overheating. So I put a heat sink on it, and then I'm trying to see how well this fan will work. And we're already back up to 46 from around 38. So it's already increased at 8 degrees, now 9 degrees, just from unplugging the fan. So it seems like the fan actually does make a decent difference, and perhaps having it at 12 volts and pushing more air through it would give it maybe a bigger difference. I think I might see about finding a way of getting an adequate voltage to that fan, or getting a 5-volt fan that has the same airflow. Oh, there it is, 47 degrees from 38. So that's about a 9 degrees Celsius difference with the fan off as opposed to the fan on. 10 degrees now. So I think that'll be the end of this video, and hopefully I'll see if using maybe a step-up transformer or a small step-up converter would work, or if not, find a 5-volt 40mm fan, if they make those, that has some good airflow, depending upon the price difference, of course.